Hello, Coach Matheson here to give a basic 101 breakdown of youth football and the offense. So I'm hoping you'll find this helpful. The offense for youth football starts with the line of scrimmage. The sidelines are off to the side, the ball gets placed on the line of scrimmage. The very first player is known as the center. He is the one at the center of every play. There are two players on either side. Their name, or they are called guards. On the outside of them are two players, and they are called tackles. Tackles. These 5 players make up the offensive line, and they are almost always set up exactly like this. Very rarely will a player go over to one side or the other. These are pretty set in stone, no matter what football program you're watching. This is always what it is, from 4-year-old tackle football all the way up to the NFL. Now comes the tricky part. Beyond here is a combination of where everybody else goes. There are 11 players on an offense that go on the field at any one time. Also, everybody else moves around, and it creates different formations or combinations of where they are supposed to do. We try to make it very simple and tell them, our players, hey, this is where you should be. So I'll use one of our most common one in our program. We refer to it as slinger. Okay? We will have the quarterback, who is the person who is directly behind the center. He is either right next to the center, and he's referred to as being under center because he puts his hands under the center in order to get the ball that is snapped to him. Or he's a couple of yards back, and he's referred to as the quarterback. There are lots of different names, and that's really what makes these things confusing. But you'll understand when I go over in another video about how we do play calling, why we choose to number them. But we'll also use the common terminology. So this is referred to as the quarterback, or the number 1, the one back. Now, in our primary formation, which we call slinger, we take the number 2 back, actually goes over here. When he is playing a running back, he is referred to as a 2-back. Other programs will call him a slot or a wing back. Those are also common terminology, but we actually use 2 different names. When he's acting as a running back and might get the ball, or might be doing some blocking on a run play, we refer to him as a number 2. Otherwise, we refer to him as a Z. Z is usually referred to when he is in some sort of a passing position, but either way, same player, same position, he has to know 2 different sets of rules, or 2 sets of explanations. Now, if we go to the number 3, the number 3 is oftentimes lined up directly behind the quarterback. He is, in a lot of terms, or in other programs, he'd be referred to as a fullback. He's usually bigger, a little bit stronger, and he's really good at blocking, and he can carry the ball, certainly. Now, this is, we're going to refer to this as slinger I formation, and that'll make sense right now. The next player that I'm writing down is the 4-back. They are in a straight line, kind of looking like an I. Now, traditionally and very common, we will run the 3-back and have him set off to the side here. Not right in line, but off the side. That would be regular slinger. This is slinger I. Now, that's the numbering of all the backs. The quarterback, the fullback, the halfback, or 1, 3, 4, and 2 is the slot, or the wing, or in our case, the Z. Now we look at receivers. Well, we have two other players that we need to identify. Out on this side, usually up on the line of scrimmage, way out here, usually extended 7 to 10 yards, depends on the grade and the age and the ability of the player, depends on how far out they go, but he is referred to as the X, or X receiver. On the opposite side, but really nice and close to the tackle, tight to the tackle, is referred to as the tight end. He is tight next to the end of the line. And we refer to him as a Y receiver. So the Y receiver and the X are your primary receivers, as well as a Z can be in there, and he has multiple positions. This is referred to as the slinger I formation. And under another video, I'll go through breaking down how to call a play. But it is also helpful to understand we refer to each of these spots that are in between or to the outside as holes, or holes that we want them to run through. So we can have them run through this, we can have them run up here, in between, or all the way out and around. And the same thing to the other side. Okay? This is referred to as the right side of the play. This is the left side for obvious reasons. We use a numbering system, and most programs do this as well. The spot or the hole between these two players is referred to as the 2 hole, the number 2 hole. They are all even numbers on this side. So this would be the 4 hole, this would be a 6 hole, this would be 8, and that would extend out to the sideline. Normally there's a little bit more of a gap here. Now on the opposite side, on the left side, those are the odd numbers. That's hole number 1, 3, 5, and 7 goes to the outside. We usually call a 7 or an 8 if we are sweeping to one side or the other. And that will tell everyone where the ball is going and when we call a play. I'll break down the anatomy of a play in a moment, in another video rather, but thought this would be helpful for you. So I hope you understand all the different positions. The center, guards are on both sides, tackles are outside of the guards, the Y receiver, the X receiver, the 2 or Z, the quarterback or the number 1, the 3-back or the fullback, the 4-back or the running back or halfback. They're all called different things those names have changed over the decades of football. But hopefully this gives you a little understanding as you're sitting in the stands trying to understand what's going on the field. Thank you very much, and please check out the other videos to see expanded explanation of things. Thank you.